In the midst of a barren desert where life seemed impossible, Israel emerged as a living miracle. A tiny nation with no natural resources, surrounded by enemies who sought its destruction, yet it rose from the ashes to become one of the most innovative and prosperous nations in the world. How is this possible? What key unlocked Israel's extraordinary transformation from a land of desolation to a global leader in technology, medicine, defense, and agriculture? The answer goes far beyond military strategies, political maneuvers, or economic policies. It lies in a divine promise made thousands of years ago to one man, Abraham. In Genesis 12:2-3, God told Abraham, "I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing." Amendment. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. This promise was not just about land. It was about divine favor and a divine calling that would shape the destiny of Israel and impact the world. Fast forward to today, and we witness a nation that has defied all odds, turning a barren desert into a thriving land full of innovation, life-saving technologies, and spiritual significance. But what exactly made this possible? How did this divine blessing unfold? How did Israel become a nation of extraordinary breakthroughs, innovation, and resilience? In this video, we will explore the incredible journey of Israel's rise, looking at how God's blessing and divine guidance have been the driving forces behind Israel's success. We'll see how this divine favor has transformed Israel into a powerhouse in fields such as agriculture, defense, and technology. Each of these advancements a manifestation of God's promise made to Abraham. We will uncover how Israel's story is not just about the triumph of a nation, but about the triumph of faith, purpose, and divine destiny. By the end of this video, you will understand how Israel's rise is a living testimony of God's promises, how faith, perseverance, and divine guidance are intertwined in the miracle of Israel's success, and how these same principles can empower each of us to overcome our own challenges and step into the purpose we are called to fulfill. Israel's wealth, a miracle in the desert. When we look at Israel, one of the smallest nations on earth, surrounded by vast deserts and hostile neighbors, it is nothing short of miraculous that it has become one of the richest, most technologically advanced countries in the world. From its humble beginnings in 1948, Israel faced seemingly insurmountable challenges. No natural resources, minimal arable land, and a hostile environment. Yet today, it stands as a beacon of innovation, a global leader in fields ranging from agriculture to medicine to technology. The question is, how did Israel go from barren land to a global powerhouse? The answer lies in the fulfillment of a divine promise, a promise made by God to Abraham in Genesis 12:2-3. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. This wasn't just a promise of land. It was a promise of divine favor and wisdom, meant to flow through the descendants of Abraham to bless the world. Israel's miraculous rise isn't the product of military might or political savvy alone. It is the result of this divine blessing, one that still drives Israel's success today. One of the clearest examples of Israel's transformation is in its agriculture. Despite being in a region known for its arid desert conditions, Israel turned its barren land into a global agricultural powerhouse. Through divine inspiration and relentless innovation, Israeli scientists developed drip irrigation, a technology that delivers water directly to the roots of plants, minimizing waste and ensuring crops flourish in the harshest environments. This innovation has not only helped Israel feed its people, but has been shared with countries all over the world, helping them grow crops in areas once deemed impossible for farming. The once barren desert became a garden, a true testament to the power of divine favor and innovation working together. Israel's agricultural success is far from the only miraculous development. The country has become a leader in water conservation, desalination technologies, and cybersecurity, turning what should have been weaknesses into sources of strength. From the development of Iron Dome, a missile defense system that intercepts incoming rockets, to pioneering advancements in medical technologies such as cancer treatments and robotic surgery, Israel continues to break new ground in every sector. This is not mere coincidence. It is the result of a deeper, divine blessing guiding the people of Israel to innovate, to persevere, and to make impossible breakthroughs. The lesson from Israel's rise is clear. With faith, resilience, and divine guidance, even the harshest challenges can be overcome. Israel's success is not just the result of human effort. It is the manifestation of God's promise to Abraham, a promise of wisdom, creativity, and resilience that has been passed down through generations. And it shows us that when we align ourselves with divine purpose, we too can turn the impossible into the possible. The desert was once a symbol of desolation, but through faith and innovation, it became a symbol of abundance and prosperity. What's to say that we cannot do the same in our own lives, turning our struggles into opportunities, our weaknesses into strengths? God's promise to Abraham, a spiritual covenant that continues to shape Israel. The remarkable rise of Israel cannot be fully understood without acknowledging the divine covenant made between God and Abraham. In Genesis chapter 12, 2-3, God promises Abraham that he will become the father of a great nation, and that all nations will be blessed through him. This promise wasn't just about land, it was a spiritual blessing, one that included wisdom, creativity, and the power to overcome obstacles. This promise was passed down to Abraham's descendants, and it is through this spiritual covenant that Israel's success has flourished. Israel's advancements in cybersecurity, defense technologies, and medical breakthroughs are not simply a result of scientific curiosity or strategic thinking. They are the fulfillment of God's promise to bless Israel and give it the wisdom and ability to lead in areas of great importance. Israel's Iron Dome, for example, is more than just an incredible defense system. It is a direct response to divine protection. The technology behind it wasn't just born from military strategies. It was the result of God guiding Israel to create a solution that would save lives, protect the innocent, and ensure the survival of the nation. Beyond defense, Israel's success in technology and agriculture is a direct result of the promise of creativity and wisdom. Israel became a global leader in innovation, earning the nickname the Startup Nation for its high number of startups and tech companies per capita. It wasn't just the sheer intellect of Israel's people, but the divine inspiration that guided them to create solutions to problems that seemed unsolvable. From developing water purification and desalination techniques to creating breakthroughs in medical research, Israel's innovations continue to shape the world, fulfilling the promise of blessing all nations through the wisdom that was bestowed upon Israel. God's covenant with Israel is not just about land, it is about a legacy of wisdom and divine favor. This promise is alive today, continuing to guide the Jewish people and the nation of Israel toward prosperity and greatness. But what does this mean for us? Just as God promised to guide Israel, He promises to guide each of us too. The lessons of faith, resilience, and innovation that we see in Israel's rise can be applied to our own lives. Just as God blessed Israel with the wisdom to transform their world, He can guide us to overcome our challenges and fulfill our purpose. Israel's story reminds us that no challenge is too great when we align ourselves with a higher purpose, when we trust in God's promises, When we believe that He has given us the tools to overcome life's difficulties, we can move mountains. Israel's success teaches us that we too can overcome obstacles and find solutions to problems, if we are willing to trust in God's wisdom and take action in faith. The same blessings and promises given to Israel are available to each of us. So the next time you face a challenge or feel like you're up against insurmountable odds, remember Israel's story. Know that with faith, innovation, and a heart aligned with divine purpose, you too can rise above your circumstances and achieve the impossible. Israel's rise from the ashes is proof that with God, all things are possible. And just as God guided Israel, He is ready to guide us through every trial and triumph in our own lives. From the ashes, Israel's miraculous rebirth and resilience. Israel's miraculous rebirth in 1948 was not just the birth of a new nation, it was the fulfillment of a divine promise that reached back thousands of years. After nearly 2,000 years of exile, suffering and persecution, the Jewish people returned to their homeland, where they would begin to rebuild their lives and their future. From a land that had been decimated by war, poverty, and neglect, Israel emerged with a purpose, an energy, and a promise of prosperity that would ultimately change the course of history. Israel's rise wasn't an easy one. It was a nation surrounded by enemies, with almost no natural resources and limited manpower. Yet, against all odds, Israel flourished. This wasn't simply a matter of political strategy or military might. It was the manifestation of divine protection and favor, guiding the nation through obstacles that would have otherwise been insurmountable. In Psalm 121:4 it says, "He who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep." This verse speaks to the spiritual truth behind Israel's rise, that God has not only watched over the land, but has actively guided and blessed it. The creation of Israel came at a time when the Jewish people were scattered across the globe, with little to no hope of ever returning to their homeland. Yet in 1948, the Jewish people defied expectations and re-established their nation, fulfilling God's promise. From that moment on, Israel became a beacon of resilience, determination, and divine favor. The Jewish people were not just rebuilding a nation, they were fulfilling a divine purpose. This story of Israel's rebirth speaks to the power of faith in action. When the Jewish people returned to their homeland, they faced extreme adversity. There was no fertile soil, no vast reserves of natural resources, and no allies in the region. Yet, through a combination of hard work, divine inspiration, and an unshakable belief in their purpose, they transformed the desert into a fertile ground for prosperity. Innovations like drip irrigation and advances in water desalination technology turned Israel's arid landscape into one that could sustain crops and feed its people. These technological breakthroughs weren't just solutions, they were signs of God's favor, fulfilling His promise that Israel would become a blessing to the nations. But Israel's success didn't end with its agricultural advancements. The same divine wisdom that guided Israel's agricultural development extended to its defense systems, medical research, and technological innovations. Israel, once a small, vulnerable nation, became a global leader in cybersecurity, medical advancements, and military defense, including groundbreaking developments like the Iron Dome missile defense system. The Iron Dome is not just a technological marvel. It is the manifestation of divine protection, a shield that saves lives and protects the nation from harm. It is not just about technology or military strategy. Israel's success is deeply tied to divine wisdom and purpose, a purpose that has guided them through every trial. The lesson from Israel's rebirth is clear. No matter how great the challenges we face, we are never without hope. Just as Israel rose from the ashes, so too can we rise from our own struggles when we trust in God's guidance and align ourselves with His purpose. Israel's story teaches us that, with faith and perseverance, we can overcome the greatest obstacles and build something beautiful out of the rubble. The blessing on the Jewish mind, unlocking unmatched success. One of the most fascinating aspects of Israel's rise is the extraordinary success of the Jewish people in various fields of science, technology, medicine, and finance. Despite making up less than 0.2% of the world's population, Jewish people have won more than 20% of all Nobel Prizes in the past century. How is this possible? What is the key to the unmatched success of Jewish people in areas that shape the world's future? The answer lies in the divine promise made to Abraham in Genesis 12:2-3, which states, "I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you." This promise of blessing was not just about land or political power. It was a promise of divine wisdom, creativity, and intellectual prowess. God endowed the Jewish people with an exceptional ability to think, create, and lead in many of the world's most influential fields. This is not just a product of raw intelligence. It is a reflection of divine favor and spiritual calling. Israel's culture of education, critical thinking, and problem-solving has played a critical role in its rise. From an early age, Jewish children are encouraged to ask questions, to think deeply, and to never stop learning. This culture of curiosity, intellectual rigor, and creativity has cultivated a mindset that continuously drives innovation. Jewish scholars, scientists, and thinkers have reshaped the world with their ideas, from Albert Einstein and Jonas Salk to Israel's cutting-edge technological innovations in artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and medical research. Israel's success in technology is one of the most significant manifestations of the blessing on the Jewish mind. Known as the startup nation, Israel has the highest number of startups per capita in the world. It is home to some of the world's most innovative companies, from cybersecurity giants like Check Point to Waze, a global leader in navigation technology. This entrepreneurial spirit is not accidental. It is the result of a culture that values innovation, creativity, and resilience, all deeply rooted in the Jewish faith and the blessings of Abraham. But Israel's success in technology and business is not just about the people. It's about the divine wisdom that has inspired them. Just as Israel's agricultural breakthroughs have transformed deserts into fertile land, Israel's technological innovations have transformed industries, changing the way the world operates. The Iron Dome, Israel's cyber defense capabilities, and its advancements in medical research are all results of God's blessing, fueling the nation's rise to greatness. The key takeaway here is that the extraordinary success of Israel, particularly in technology and defense, is a reflection of the divine favor promised to Abraham and his descendants. It shows us that when we align ourselves with God's purpose and tap into the wisdom He has provided us, we too can innovate, create, and achieve greatness. Israel's success teaches us that when we focus on solving problems, thinking creatively, and using our talents for the greater good, there is no limit to what we can accomplish. The Jewish mind's success is not a coincidence. It is the fulfillment of God's divine promise, and it teaches us that by embracing wisdom, creativity, and innovation, we can overcome obstacles and transform the world around us. Israel's achievements remind us that we too have been endowed with gifts of creativity, intellect, and vision that, when aligned with God's purpose, can lead to extraordinary results. As we reflect on Israel's success in innovation and technology, let it inspire us to tap into our own creativity and faith. Just as Israel has risen to the top of the global stage in various fields, so can we rise above our challenges and achieve great things in our own lives. When we step forward with purpose, faith, and a commitment to excellence, we too can leave a legacy of impact and innovation for future generations. Defense and innovation, God's wisdom in warfare. In the shadow of constant threats, Israel's defense and military innovations have become one of the most powerful testimonies to divine intervention and purpose. The Jewish people, who have faced persecution, exile, and wars for thousands of years, emerged from the ashes of conflict in 1948 to establish a small but resilient nation. Surrounded by enemies and facing overwhelming odds, Israel not only survived, but thrived, and it did so not merely by the strength of human military might, but through divine wisdom. Israel's military strength, its advanced defense systems like the Iron Dome, and its capacity to overcome threats are not just the result of tactical brilliance or political strategies. They are reflections of a divine favor that has shaped Israel's success from the very beginning. Psalm 121:4 reminds us, "He who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep." This verse speaks to the divine protection that has watched over Israel, guiding its military innovations and ensuring that the country continues to defend itself, even in the most difficult circumstances. Israel's Iron Dome, which intercepts incoming missiles, is one of the clearest examples of divine wisdom at work. The technology behind it didn't just come from textbooks or military advisors. It was born out of a deep sense of divine calling and urgency. Israel, surrounded by enemies and facing rocket attacks, needed to protect its people, and God provided the inspiration and insight to develop the Iron Dome, a system that has saved countless lives. But Israel's defense success doesn't end there. The cybersecurity capabilities Israel has developed are unparalleled. Israel is known for its cyber intelligence units, which are capable of stopping cyber attacks before they even begin. From protecting critical infrastructure to ensuring the safety of national security systems, Israel's cyber defenses are a direct result of divine wisdom and foresight. This kind of foresight is not something that can be engineered merely through human efforts. It is the manifestation of God's guidance, helping Israel protect its people and its interests. This divine wisdom extends to Israel's entire defense strategy. Every innovation, every step taken to protect its people has been guided by a higher purpose. When we look at the remarkable ways in which Israel has protected its borders, prevented harm, and defended its people, we see the hand of God at work, ensuring the survival and prosperity of a nation that was once on the brink of annihilation. Israel's rise in defense is not a testament to the strength of the nation's military. It is a sign of the spiritual and divine favor that has empowered Israel to thrive, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. What can we learn from this story of Israel's defense? It teaches us that our strength does not come from ourselves alone. When we align ourselves with divine purpose, when we trust in God to guide our actions, we too can find solutions to our challenges, whether they be personal, professional, or spiritual. Israel's defense story is one of divine wisdom, and it shows us that we are never alone in the face of danger or adversity. God provides us with the wisdom and insight we need to overcome even the most overwhelming obstacles. Just as Israel was able to protect itself through divine inspiration, so too can we find divine guidance in our own lives. Whether we face personal battles, professional struggles, or challenges in our communities, we can trust that God's wisdom will help guide us through. Just as Israel's technological and defense advances have changed the world, we too can innovate, protect, and thrive when we trust in God's guidance. A culture of blessing and giving. The heart of Israel's success. One of the most remarkable, yet often overlooked aspects of Israel's success is its deeply ingrained culture of giving and generosity. From the very beginning, Israel has been a nation that believes in the power of tzedakah, the practice of charity and justice. In fact, the very foundation of Israel's success can be traced back to this principle. The belief that, when you give, God gives back more, has created a culture of generosity that has fueled the nation's growth. This culture of giving is not just about providing for the needy. It is about creating a society that thrives when every individual contributes to the greater good. From the earliest days of Israel's rebirth, the people were committed to not just rebuilding their own lives, but to building up their communities. Whether it was providing for the poor, ensuring that the elderly were cared for, or giving time and resources to others, Israel's commitment to helping others created a bond of unity and strength among the people. In Israel, giving is not an afterthought. It is a moral obligation. From childhood, Jewish children are taught to view generosity as a commandment, not just a good deed. The principle of tzedakah is deeply rooted in the culture, and it has shaped Israel into a nation that understands that prosperity comes not from what we keep for ourselves, but from what we share with others. This culture of giving isn't just a social practice, it is a spiritual principle that reflects God's desire for His people to bless others as they themselves have been blessed. The impact of this culture is evident not only within Israel but throughout the world. Israel's contributions to global humanitarian efforts, including disaster relief and medical aid, have helped countless nations in need. Israel's technological innovations, such as the development of water desalination and agriculture technologies, have been shared with countries facing severe drought and hunger. These innovations have fed millions, provided clean water to dry regions, and saved lives across the globe. The giving heart of Israel has blessed nations, just as God promised to Abraham. Israel's commitment to giving also teaches us that true prosperity doesn't come from hoarding wealth or resources. It comes from sharing them. Just as Israel has been a blessing to the nations, we too are called to bless others with what we have, whether that be our time, our talents, or our resources. When we embrace a life of generosity, we invite divine favor into our lives. This doesn't mean we give away everything we have, but that we understand the importance of generosity and the power of sharing with others. Israel's prosperity wasn't just about wealth. It was about building a society where generosity flowed freely and where every individual had a role in lifting up those in need. This principle of generosity extends beyond Israel's borders. Israel's mission to bless others through giving is one that continues today. From sending medical teams to countries in crisis to providing educational opportunities for those in need, Israel's culture of generosity serves as a reminder that true success is about making a positive impact on the world around us. As we reflect on Israel's story of giving, let it inspire us to embrace a life of generosity. Whether it's through helping a neighbor, supporting a cause, or contributing to a community effort, every act of kindness ripples outward, creating a cycle of blessings that enriches everyone. The culture of giving in Israel isn't just about charity, it's about honoring God's calling to bless the nations, to serve others, and to create a world where abundance flows from one person to the next. Just as Israel's generosity has brought blessings to the world, we too can create a culture of generosity in our own lives, in our homes, our communities, and our workplaces. When we live lives marked by giving and sharing, we align ourselves with divine purpose and invite God's blessings into our lives. As we come to the end of this incredible journey, let us pause and reflect on the profound lessons we've uncovered together about Israel's rise. From the ashes of war, persecution, and exile, Israel has emerged as a living testament to the power of faith, divine purpose, and perseverance. It's a story that goes beyond politics, beyond military might, and reaches deep into the heart of a nation chosen to fulfill a higher calling. And the lessons that Israel's story teaches us are not confined to a distant past. They are living principles that apply to each of us today. Israel's rise wasn't just about overcoming physical challenges. It was about overcoming spiritual ones too. It was about aligning with a divine purpose, trusting in God's promises, and stepping forward in faith despite the overwhelming odds. It shows us that no matter how barren the desert may seem, with faith, resilience, and divine guidance, we too can turn our lives into something extraordinary. Israel's success is the product of human effort, yes, but it's also the product of divine favor. God's blessings, wisdom, and protection have been the driving force behind every breakthrough, every victory, and every triumph. When we look at Israel's achievements in agriculture, technology, defense, and medicine, it's easy to be awed by their success. But beyond the statistics and accolades, there is a deeper story. A story of a people who were willing to trust in God's promises and move forward with the belief that they had a divine purpose to fulfill. And this is where the real lesson lies. When we align ourselves with our higher purpose, when we trust in the wisdom God has placed within us, we too can achieve great things. The story of Israel is not just a story about one nation. It is a blueprint for overcoming adversity and stepping into the greatness we are all capable of. What can we take away from Israel's journey? We learn that success is not simply about what we can achieve with our own hands. It's about recognizing the divine guidance available to us, the wisdom we've been given, and trusting in that power to help us overcome the challenges that life throws our way. Just as Israel overcame impossible odds to rise from the desert and become a beacon of innovation and prosperity, we too can rise above our own challenges when we trust in the divine purpose and guidance in our lives. Israel's rise teaches us that with faith, anything is possible. Whether you're facing personal struggles, professional challenges, or spiritual doubts, remember that God's promises are still alive today. Israel's story proves that with God, even the most barren deserts can bloom into gardens of abundance. When we trust in His purpose, step out in faith, and keep moving forward, we too can experience breakthroughs and miracles in our own lives. As you reflect on this story, think about the deserts in your own life. What seems impossible right now? What challenges or struggles are standing in your way? Remember, Israel was once a barren land, a nation with no resources, surrounded by enemies. But through faith, resilience, and divine wisdom, Israel became a global leader, a testimony to what happens when we trust in God's plans. If Israel could rise from the ashes, so can we. Whatever you're facing today, know that you are not alone. With God, you are equipped to overcome any obstacle. If this video has touched your heart and inspired you, I humbly ask for your support to keep spreading these powerful messages. When you like, comment, and subscribe, you help me continue creating content that brings light, hope, and divine wisdom into the world. Your support, no matter how small, helps me keep sharing these stories of faith and purpose, stories that are meant to inspire and empower others. I deeply appreciate your energy, your time, and your presence in this community. Every moment you spend here matters, and every bit of support you offer helps keep the message of divine blessing alive. If you feel moved by the message Israel's story carries, if it has spoken to your soul, lifted you up, or helped you find strength in difficult times, please consider sharing your thoughts in the comments and letting me know how this video has impacted you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this journey. Together, we can continue to spread hope, strength, and the light of divine wisdom to a world that so desperately needs it. May you be blessed, may your path be guided, and may you always find strength in the promises of God.